This is Irontrader, and this is the last call of the day. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, and we'll look at for Ether, ETHU, and then we'll take a look here at gold and silver and crude oil, natural gas. And we'll take a look at the indexes here, which are now green. Okay, at the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy or sell any stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin daily, weekly chart. Now you can see here we've got a green candle, but it's kind of like an indecision candle, and we still have this series of lower highs and lower low situation, which made another lower low again today. All right, so we're looking here at 108.845. That was the lowest today. Your next level is going to be right at the bottom there. You're looking at 107.840. We'll come to the bottom there. You're looking at 107.680 level. And then what we do is we're looking right here for the 100-day at 106.05. And then we have these, just bring this price channel right across here. If we lose that 100-day, you're looking at that 105.540 level. Now, this is also very key here by Friday, is we want to watch that 107.44. That's your 21 simple moving average here on your weekly chart, and that's going to be very, very important. The same as this 100-day, the same as the 200-day. Now, on the upside, we want to watch today's high. That's 110.890 level. Okay, and then what we do is we look right at the top of that candle. What we have 111.220. Okay, that's going to be your next level. Then we can come right down here to the bottom. Okay, you're looking at 111.805. We have 112.075, and then we have 112.485, and then we have 112.80.820. But this is the big boy that you're looking for, is that 114.18 level, and that 8-day sitting right there at that, let's see, 114.049. Now, when the futures open here tonight at 6 o'clock, this 8-day is going to be lower. It's going to cross that 50-day. So just respect that. As this moves up, that's going to be very, very strong resistance. Okay, so you can have the 50-day, the 8-day. If we can get above that, then we can look at the top of this candle, 115.30. But then you're really looking for that 21-day at 116.309. So you got a lot of resistance going on up here. Okay, so what we need to do as this rolls down, eventually we have to get that price back above at least the 8-day, and we can turn those price channels around and take it right back up. But right now, this is a bearish chart. When we had that nice double top situation, and now she's coming right down. However, that being said, really a lot of good trading. I've been trading the BITX. I traded that thing like 4 times today. Got as low as 52.92 and high as 54.07. I just keep trading that range and trading that range. And, say I'm only looking for like 50 cents each time. And so, I already got 2 points out of the BITX. So this is a really, really good trading situation on the BITX. Okay. Now, your RSI, we had the negative divergence. You're only sitting at 41. That can go, that's not overbought or oversold. The green is below your red, and this is not nowhere near oversold. So this could come down. So it's two key levels that you really want to watch is that 21 SMA and this 100 SMA. That's going to be very, very key on a closing basis. Now, we're playing like a ping pong action, the 21-day on the bottom and that 8-day on the top. By Friday, we really need to get this back above that 116.364 level. Otherwise, we're going to lose that 8-day. That 8-day is going to roll over, and that's not going to be pretty. Okay, you're going to have the same thing what we had here. So as we had this double top situation, this rolled on down, and then look what happened. This rolled all the way down farther. So let's just see how this all going to shake out. Now, your RSI, we got to like an overbought situation. Now she's coming right off. The green is about ready to cross the red, so that shows momentum to the downside. Now, it's not all negative. You look at this chart here, bottom left, upper right, this price can come all the way down to the 50-day, and it's still very, very series of higher lows all the way on up here and higher highs. Looking very, very good. Okay, so don't get too bearish. Look for a buying opportunity. Right now, for me, during this time period, it's a trading opportunity. Okay, let's look at the ETF, ETHU for Ether there. All right, this is a 2 times leverage. We're going to be looking at this every day at the end of the day now. I know a lot of people really like to trade the Ethereum, and here we go. Okay, this is an easy way to trade. Now, you can see here we had this double top. See that double top situation? Came right on down, put a red candle in, but now we have another inside day. Yesterday we had an inside day. Today we have an inside day. So let's look at the downside. What we're watching is that 8-day, 156.78, very, very key. Then we look to yesterday's low. That's at 154.01 level, okay? Then what we do is we can come down to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 149.15. We'll come bottom there, 145.83. And then we're going to look at 143.37, and then we have your 21-day right below that. Now, again, if we lose all that, situation. And we just come to the bottom there, 136.91. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking right to the top of this candle, 127.69. But then we have this gap, okay? See, 127.19. And then we have a fill at 125.62 level. Now, another gap is 119.44. And then we have that fill at 114.44 level before we start coming with that 50 SMA. But right now, this chart is looking still very, very bullish. The 50-day, 100-day, 21-day, everything's on the upswing here, but we got to just watch that 8-day. That's going to be very, very critical. Now, on the upside, we want to watch, obviously, today's high, 165.40. And then we'll come right to the top of this candle. You're looking at 169.48 level. Then we'll come to the top of there. You're looking at 174.97. And then we can come over to old sticky here at 183.18. And then we had your big retest at 188.73. You crack that, you're going to 200. Okay? Maybe not exactly 200, but maybe, 199.98 or something. Okay? So right now, this here is looking still very, very good. We were to an over bought condition, and we had a negative divergence. So we have a high and a little bit lower high. So we have a high, and then we have a higher high, and then that came right on down. But now we're kind of just hanging right in there at that 57 mark. We have a sideways action. Now, here on a weekly chart by Friday, we definitely want to hold that 8-day. You can see how that 8-day is moving up here very nice, and that's going to provide a lot of really good support. We lose that, you always have your 50-day and your 21-day. Now, obviously, this hasn't been around that long. You can see the chart is just starting to mold here. But again, that 188.73, that's your big breakout, and then we shoot for the 200. Now, again, we got to like an overbought condition. And now she's just pulling back a little bit. The green is still over your red here. This is still looking very, very good. On the whole situation. But you look at the daily, this is looking very, very, still very good. As long as we hold that 8-day, if we lose that, your big targets will be that 21-day, and then we have these gaps that fills, and we come all the way down to that 50 SMA. All right, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Here we have gold, here we have silver. Now, gold here is working itself like a circus monkey, okay? You're sitting at, got as high as 34.37 level. You're sitting right now at 34.30. Okay, that's where we're sitting. Now we're above this key level right here, 34.23, very, very nicely. Okay, so I took a trade today in the GL day. I am out of the trade right now, and that worked out very, very nicely. Okay, so I'm not really holding the gold or the silver like overnight. I'm not a big trader of gold or silver. I like the oil, natural gas, gasoline, and the techs and the Bitcoin. But I do trade it once I can see where you have some movement kind of a situation. Now you can see how nice this is moving up. We're putting this nice series of higher highs in here and higher lows. That's always very, very good. Okay, I like that. So now what we're looking on the upside is 34.37. We just look to the bottom of that candle, 34.45, that's going to be your next resistance level. And then we have 34.51, and then we'll come on top of that candle at that 34.76. Now, if we can crack that 34.76, then we'll come to the top there. You're looking at 34.76, and then we look at that 35.09, the retest, and then we can come up to that 35.34 level. So right now here, this is actually looking very, very good here today to the upside, but we'll have to see how this all shakes out. Now on the downside, we're really watching that 21-day at 34.02, we have that 8-day 33.94, and then that 50-day at 33.75. Very, very strong, but their price is above all the simple moving averages, which is always very good. We lose that, we'll come to the bottom. You look at 33.67, and then we come down there at 33.62 level. Then we have 33.53, then you have El Hondo there at 33.35. Okay, so everything is sitting right here. This is actually looking like a nice, good rounded, but for me, it's just a trade. Okay, now 56, plenty of room to run. Green crossed over red, plenty of room. Looking very, very good. So maybe, as I say, I'll be looking at this later in the day. Maybe when those pit close, reopen there at 6 o'clock, I might jump right back into that GLD. Always remember, you take your profits. You can always get back into the trade. Very, very easy. Now, silver not looking really that good. We have like an indecision candle. It's really not, not really doing a whole lot of anything. However, when I posted it this morning, we have a poll, and then we have a flag going here. So this could be a possible bull flag situation. So just we'll see how that shakes out. Now, the downside, you really need to hold that 38.17, the 8-day, the 37.96, and then we have that 50-day at 37.68. That's going to be your critical downside. But again, your price is just like gold. Everything is above all those simple moving averages. Very nice. Now, upside, 38.86, today's high, 38.96, and then we're going to be watching this retest at 39.09. We crack above that, we can come to the bottom there, at 39.33 and 39.52, 39.66. There's your big retest at 39.91. And then we have to see what happens when it gets there. Does it blow through, hit 40, 42, 45? Or does that where it stops and then she comes right on down again? So we got to all see. Sometimes you can have these double top situation where you put a little bit higher high and then she sells off, okay? And then always watch for a situation like this. See this bear flag kind of a situation, and then she pounces. But again, we have a possible bull flag in process. Now, you have 55. Nice. Got plenty of room to run. The green is over your red, sitting at the bottom. This could go much higher, and the chart overall looks very, very bullish, okay? Same way here with the gold. Chart looks very, very bullish. All right, let's take a look here now at crude oil. Here we have the crude oil, okay? I am out of that UCO like I was last night because bottom line, you went into the 21 day, but when the futures opened, I noticed that it could not get through that 21 day and it's not looking very good. So I jumped out of that and I just didn't have no trade. And today I put on the SCO. So I'm back in the short ski on the old SCO. Now it got as low as 1686. I'm not in there. I'm in that 17 flat. Okay, so you're sitting at 1730. I got it a little bit late. But again, I'm going to see how this all going to shake out. So what we're watching on the downside is going to be watching that 8-day 63.23. If this is going to be lost, then we're going to look for a dot in there at 62.52. We'll look for the bottom at 61.83. And then we have your retest at 61.45. Then we have to see what the reaction is going to be. It's going to blast through, or is it going to double bottom and then rally back up? We got to see that. Now, again, if you start losing that area, then you come down here to 61.06 level, and then we come down 60.55, and then we have your 59.74. Just bring that price channel right across. Very, very nice. Okay, so that could be the next level if this price channel 61.45 is lost. Now, upside, now we're back here right below this 100-day. Okay, this is a killer. Okay, 64.25, that's your next resistance. Okay, and then we have 64.69, and then we're going to come up here to your 66.25 level, your 50-day, and then we have your 200-day at 67.45. So everything is right there. Again, we got the hurricane season going on here all the way from now, September, and about the first or so week of October. So for me, this is just a trader's market. It's not like buy long, buy short, stay short, unless I can start, seeing something. Now, again, if we lose this level, this 61.45, then yes, I'll be in the short and I'll be staying short because the next level is going to be right there at that 59.74. Just that simple, okay? But again, we got to see one day does not make a market. Now, we had a nice, good 4-day rally, but you notice that it just could not get and close above that 21-day. That's how it is. This is why you trade the charts. Very, very easy. Now, again, I sold it the UCO yesterday after the futures open, but see, it doesn't make any difference. I could have just jumped in there very well, today if it rallied up here and then went to the 50-day, 200-day and moving on up. But again, that's not what it did. So basically, if you miss a little bit, it doesn't make any difference. Just as long as you make money on the trade and put it in your pocket, okay? So I don't care if you make $10 on a trade. If you make $10 on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, by the time you get to Friday, you got $50 that you didn't have Monday, okay? So look at it that way. And you trade a little bigger account, maybe you made $500 that you didn't have Monday, or $1,000 or $10,000 you didn't make Monday. But it doesn't make any difference, on what you make, long as you're going in that positive direction. Now, RSI, you're sitting at 44. That has not overbought or oversold. Same way we're here at the green. It just doesn't have any kind of a mojo. So bottom line, when those futures open at 6, watch that 8-day. Very, very key. Watch that 21-day. Basically, just watch today's candle, 64.76 on the high, 63.13 on the low. Remember, API report will be out today at 4:30. All right, Natgas. Let's see what's going on there. Okay, here we have natural gas. I took no trade in natural gas today. I didn't see anything. Okay, so UNG, we had a bottom of 1171 and a high of 1198. That's not going to work for me. Okay, KOLD, you had 39.53 on the bottom, and when we had 41.10. It just wasn't enough to be worth my time. Kind of a situation. There was a lot better stuff out there than this. Okay, so basically we have the same scenario. We have the red candle. We have that bear flag. It sells off. Bear flag sells off. Bear flag sells off. So what's going to happen here again? Going to sell off again. Okay, but so bottom line, this is what you're watching. 278. That's going to be very, very key. Then we come up to the top of these candles. Yeah, you got 2.84, but realistically, you're looking for that 21-day at 2.91, and we're looking for the reaction. If you can crack above it, we have resistance here, but realistically, you're looking right there at 319, and you're looking at that 323. You're looking at that 100-day, 335, and then 349. Okay, that's what you're looking for. But right now, look at this. This is a complete waterfall to the downside. This is just a trade only. I didn't really see anything that was worth my time today, so I just passed, sat on my hands on natural gas, traded the oil, traded Nvidia, traded TQQ. You know what I'm saying? Palantir was a really good trade today. There's a lot other trade, and BITX on I think I traded it 4 times. That was a good trade. So if you can't see what you like looking at, find something else. Very easy. Now, what we're watching here is that price channel at that 262 level. Okay, so this is what we're trading against on the downside. We start losing that. Right here is what you're looking for, is that 2.58 level, and then we have that 2.51, and then when we come to the top of that at 2.44 level, we have 2.37, and then we can come work yourself down to 2.26, and then we come down here to 2.21 level. Okay, that is your downside. Now, this is not oversold. Okay, this is not oversold, so this could keep on running. So what I'm waiting for and being very patient here is this price to get back above that 8-day. Close above that 8-day, and then I want to see what's going to happen at the 21-day. That's going to be very, very crucial. We'll get above that, then I'll jump in there and take more of a longer trade, and then we can take it back up here. Maybe you've hit that 50-day, but then we can go into this winter season. If that Farmer's Almanac is right, you're going to be very, very cold. Natural gas is not going to stay down here for a long time. Okay, it's just reality. This is just a trade right now because there is nothing, the hurricane, there's no disruption as of now. Okay, that's the key. All right, let's take a look here at the indexes. Indexes, Dow, S&P, and the old Nest. Now, basically, everything is waiting. Yeah, you got a little rally. Dow's up 38, S&P's up 11, Nasdaq's up 44. No big deal, okay? I think everything is waiting on this AI trade with NVIDIA tomorrow. I think that is going to be the key. And if NVIDIA starts rallying on all the way up here, then I think it's going to drag the rest of the stocks and even Bitcoin and all this kind of stuff along with it. Okay, so just remember that could just take this all right up higher, all in one shot. All right, so or the earnings could stink it up, and then we could come all the way down. Remember, it's not the news that matters; it's going to be that reaction. That's going to be the key. Now, upside, obviously, 45,757. You crack that, you go 46,000. Okay, very simple. Downside, watch that 8-day. Okay. Watch this 21-day. That's going to be very, very key because we just came all the way down and it held it nice. Then what we want to watch is the 50-day. Then we want to watch this price channel at 43,340. Then we have the gap, the fill. We have a 200-day and a 100-day. So there's a lot of good support underneath. But right now, as long as we're holding this 8-day, we're looking here very, very nice. We had negative divergence, but it's trying to work that self out on out here. So you got to be a little bit patient on the old Dow. Now the S&P, same thing. You can see how nice this 21-day is holding, okay? Very, very nicely. And now the 8-day is holding up very nice. Now, I want you to take a look at this. See this? Pull. See this there? See, this is a very good possible bull flag situation. Now, we had this double top. It made that high, 64.78. The other previous high is 64.81, okay? See, double top came down, but look at this. Okay, possible bull flag bull going. If we get above that 64.81, you're going to rip. You're going to go 65. You could go 65.50, 60, all the way up to 67 if you wanted to. So be real patient with this kind of a situation. Downside, watch that 8-day, watch that 21-day. Okay, then we just come down to the bottom of the candle, looking at 43 level. We follow these candles on the bottom down. Then we're looking for that 62.86, that 50-day. Then we're looking here, right here at that 62.12. That's going to be very, very key. And obviously, gap fill, 100-day, 200-day. Okay. But right now, we're still uptrending here. Very nice. We have negative divergence going on. But right now, it just doesn't seem to be playing out as that. Okay. We just have a nice, good rally on up. Now, here, the old NASDAQ, same thing. We're holding this 8-day. That's going to be key on a closing basis, 21,410. Next level is going to be right there, 2131. Then we just follow the candles right on the bottom. You got 2192. We got 2113. You got 2905. And then we have 2801. And then we have your retest at 2560, which is basically just the bottom of that candle. Right? You have gap, fill, 100-day, 200 SMA. But right now, we're holding this. Okay? That's the key. We're holding that 8-day and we're holding that 21-day. Now, we blast through there. We could just venture on up here, and there's your big target, 21,803. You crack that, you can go 22,000. Okay, very simple. And you can work yourself up to 23,000. We won't know where we're going to go, but let's just see what the catalyst that's going to actually take us there. Now, negative divergence going on here. negative divergence, and negative divergence. So let's just see. Now, yesterday I'm sitting there almost about 8 o'clock, and all of a sudden, global news, the announcement comes out that Trump is going to put on more tariffs on different countries if they don't pretty much do what he wants. So, that took the market right on down. So always, always, always pay attention to the news, see what's going on in the news. But really the key is going to be tomorrow night after the hours is going to be that NVIDIA trade. That thing is going to set the tone for the end of the week. All right, that's what I got. I'll be back here tomorrow morning. We'll do it all over again. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.